I was rewatching The Edge of 17 from 2016, Hilly Seinfeld. It was a really good movie. But aside from that, I'm going to be switching out the driver's side trailing arm on the 2008 Honda CRV that I did, the passenger side trailing arm. Now the process does differ only because the trailing arm was separated into two, but realistically it should not be difficult. Before I go on, if you haven't already, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, as well as check out my channel content for more. And hey, when it comes to cars, have fun. I replaced the trailing arm on this car already. Now, that was the passenger side. The trailing arm was rusted, given that we live in the salt belt and the E-coating that's on it, as well as possibly just any coating deteriorates over time. Now, being in the rust belt, we learned that cars rust. Who knew? So it was a really difficult yet easy process. Easy for some, difficult for others. Realistically, this whole process should be pretty straightforward, simply disconnecting some bolts and dropping the trailing arm down. And on one side it wasn't that case, the other side it was. I don't know. That's why I shoot both sides differently, because each car is different and it seems to have a different process depending on how it was exposed and how it was handled previously. It is a pretty straightforward process. There is an active recall though on these Honda CRVs, second generation, third generation, about these trailing arms. So let's get right into it. I'm going to use a 19mm and loosen and remove these lug nuts. Using a 17mm, I'm going to loosen this trailing arm bolt. And I take my impact gun and see if we can get it out. Do the same for this alignment cam bolt. Looks like this cam is moving. So now I'm gonna hit it a couple of times with my, maybe, I don't have to hit it. It looks like it moves. Using that same 17, I'm gonna try and loosen this shock or strut mount bolt. Sweet. I'm going to use a 15/16 equivalent to a 24mm. Make sure I can spin the cam, alignment cam. I want to make sure that that comes free as well as move it. Taking my socket and ratchet, I'm just going to loosen this. Give it a couple of taps with the hammer. Like that. And now we know that that comes free. This bolt is also a 17mm and it should come right out, hopefully, in theory. I can take this socket. Come on. There we go. Now it's out. Loosen and remove these two 17mm holding this in place. Now we see that this is free. Don't forget about this sway bar link. This one's a little more challenging, so I'm gonna just spray it down with some penetrating fluid. Using an 18 on the back side right here. If I can get the 18 into place, I'm gonna use a 17mm and then zip that off. Can't be in Michigan without hammer and sockets on, folks. This is a combination of going back and forth. Free, so you can see we can move it freely. Oh good gosh, that's hot. Tap that out and it's free. Move this 17mm right here. This cam can come out like that.
Once this cam comes out, the whole unit will come out. There's the cam. Grabbing a pry bar, I'm just going to jostle the back out first. There we go. Now I can jostle this over here. Kind of break it free from the car. Same thing. Kind of just jostling all this dirt and grime off. I wish that my GoPro was working so you could see what I'm doing. Jostle it from the sway bar. Jostle it from the knuckle. Oh, and there we go. I'm gonna take this other unit here that I have, take the bolt, slide it on in. Bring it up. See if I can get these to align a little bit and hold itself. Bringing back these 17 millimeters bolts. I'm just gonna bind them so this stays in place. And I can just tighten and snug those up. Using the pry bar, just going to align this. Shock and strut assembly. Bring back that 17 millimeter bolt, find the threads, gonna snug it down. Okay, we're bottom. Now we can move to the next one. Gonna align this bolt here. There we go. There we go. I'll get down using that 17 millimeter. Doing the same, much like everything else. I'm going to align this. And then stick the cam in through the back side, ensuring that it goes in. Then kind of tap it along the way. You should start to see it coming out in just a moment. Stick the locking, and then there we go. Now I'm just going to line up the sway bar, reinstall it before I torque everything down. Here's that nut. I'm just going to tighten that preliminarily. Using an 18 millimeter wrench and a 17 millimeter socket, just going to snug that down. Snug, and now we can torque everything down. I'm gonna torque this to 54 foot-pounds. Torque to 69 foot-pounds for the shock. Okay. Torque the sway bar link to 29 foot-pounds. Torque it to 43 foot-pounds. This to 63 foot-pounds. Everything's ready. I can adjust the cam, tighten it, and then take it to the alignment rack.
Yeah, I'm lifting this pretty high. There we go.
86 foot-pounds.
How is that? Overall, it's not a very hard process to do. And to tear apart that rear trailing arm, it just really depends on what it was exposed to and where it was exposed to. Because the last thing you want is for that trailing arm to, you know, detach or the bolts not coming out. So active concerns with that. Now the other half of this is that if you do replace the trailing arm, you do have to get an alignment done afterwards. The little alignment cam at the bottom, as well as the top bolt for the camber adjustment. So camber is the upper one, which will push in and out depending if you have adjustable camber. And then the bottom is the rear toe. And it will have to be aligned, or else it will probably dog track a little bit, or the thrust angle might be off, or I mean, we're not really talking about SAI, so it doesn't matter. But, I mean, your alignment angles will be off. Now, just keep that in mind when you replace it, and your increased tire wear will be present if you do not get it aligned almost immediately. But, I mean, in theory, the part is easy to replace. In reality, it's really just depends on the car and where it is. I mean, as I said, I'm in the Rust Belt. It is cold and icy. Or sometimes, like right now, it is cold and rainy. Or tomorrow, it's supposed to be 70 and sunny. So it really just depends. Now, if you like this video, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, along with check out my channel content for more. And hey, have fun. It is fun to work on cars. I never understood how people get so frustrated working on... Wait, I've gotten frustrated once or twice in my life at something I couldn't figure out. Wait. Okay.